Hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information, of course, comes from the smart device application Today in History. What happened today in history?
Historical calendar.
And the website onthisday.com for links to those sources, the music, and anything else we gather throughout the show, as well as anything Omni Coalition. Check the underbar, the description below. Anyway, I am Alexander.
I am me.
And today is Tuesday, aka Tears Day, also known as Wednesday, May 17th, 2022.
Okay, I want to try to start it off. No, you can start it off.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Alright, in 1395, which was 627 years ago, during the Battle of Ravine, the Wallachinians defeated an invading army of Ottomans. Interesting. They got invaded by a bunch of furniture. I mean, the comfiness, oh no. Moving on up into 1521, Edward Stafford, 3rd Duke of Buckingham, was executed for treason. Oh, good. Goodness gracious. I mean, woo. And in 1527, Panfilo de Narvaez departed Spain to explore Florida with 600 men. By 1536, which was 9 years later, only 4 were still alive. Wow, that did not end well at all. Whew. 596 people died in 9 years. That's intense.
Oh, damn. 1536, George Boleyn, 2nd Viscount Roxburgh, and other 4 men were executed for treason.
Oh, is today Execution for Treason Day or something? This is the second article of that.
No, I don't know. Who knows? 1536, Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn's marriage is annulled.
Ah, here we go.
1648.
No,
Emperor
1590. 1590.
Oh, 1590, Anne of Denmark's crown Queen of Scotland.
Ah. 1642, Paul de Chaumeday, Sieur de Maisonneuve, funded the Ville Marie de Montreal. Well, that's a crazy name right there. 6 years later, in 1648, Emperor Ferdinand III defeated Maximilian I of Bavaria in the Battle of Zuschmarschausen. I can't pronounce that. Then in 1673, Louis Joliet and Joaquin Marquette began exploring the Mississippi River. Huh, interesting.
Okay. 1760, French forces besieged Quebec retreat after Royal Navy arrived to relieve the British garrison.
You missed one, 1756.
1756, 7 Years' War formally begins when Great Britain declares war on France.
Oh, dang.
And 1792, the New York Stock Exchange is formed under the Buttonwood Agreement.
Buttonwood Agreement. That sounds interesting. Let me look at that real quick. Buttonwood Agreement. It is a founding document of what is now the New York Stock Exchange and one of the most important financial documents in U.S. history. The agreement organized securities trading in New York City and was signed on May 17th, today, between 24 stockbrokers outside of 68 Wall Street. Interesting. I'm going to add that to the underbar, but before I do, I'm going to take us up into 1805, in which Muhammad Ali became Wali of Egypt. Nice. 4 years later, in 1809, Emperor Napoleon I ordered the annexation of the Papal States to the French Empire. Got a little bit of a muffin mouth right there for a second. 1814, occupation of Monaco changes from French to Austrian. Huh. I wonder what caused that. Some kind of war document or something? I don't know. Mr. Sohead.
Yes.
You have 1814 here, the second one.
1814, occupation Oh, 1814, the Constitution of Norway is signed in the Crown Prince Christian Frederick of Denmark is elected King of Norway by the Norwegian Constitute Assembly.
Ah.
Also 1959, 1959, members of the Melbourne Football Club codified the first rules of Australian rules football.
Oh, yeah, I remember. We spoke about... I forgot the birth or the death of the guy who helped write that was like a couple weeks ago.
First rule, no bitching. Second
Yeah.
rate, no bitching. Third rule, if there's a rule in the field, no bitching. Second, we don't drink. Get out of here. We don't drink pasta. No. Okay. 1865, the International Telegram Union, later the International Telecommunications Union, is established in Paris.
Nice. (1875), Aristides won the first Kentucky Derby with the jockey Oliver Lewis at 2 minutes 37 seconds or 2 minutes 37 and 3/4 of a second. Moving on up into 1900, the children's novel The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum was first published in the United States. The first copy is given to the author's sister. Nice. 2 years later, 1902, Greek archaeologist Valerio Stace discovered the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient mechanical analog computer. Which, well, you know what? I'll just copy and paste this here real quick. Here. Your turn, sir, while I show the viewers the complexity of the Antikythera mechanism.
1915?
1914.
In 1914, the Protocol of Corfu is signed, recognizing full autonomy to Northern Cyprus under normal Albanian sovereignty. 1915, the last British Liberal Party government led by H.H. Usquit falls.
I don't know how Britain is today. I think it's come back.
1937, Spanish Civil War. The Largo Caballero government resigns in the wake of the Barcelona May Day. Leading Juan Negrin to form a government without an anarcho-syndicalistic CNT. And it's dead. Okay, weird.
Interesting. What is this? Let me look this up here. Anarcho-syndicalist CNT. Confederación Nacional de Trabajo. Yeah. Okay. I think this is what they were talking about, maybe because this is CNT. So I'm going to add this into the underbar here for those who want to research what the heck that is, because I have no clue. But I do not have the time to research it now. I'm going to take us up into 1940, which in World War II, Germany occupied Brussels in Belgium. 3 years later...
Holy shit.
Yep. 3 years later, also during the Second World War, dam buster raids commenced by No. 617 Squadron RAF, Royal Air Force. And yeah, like how they took out the dams, they had like the bombs underneath, like in these like keg-looking things, and they had them spin opposites, so when they hit the water, it slows them down and stuff. And they were designed to come in from the back of the dam, slow enough to just hit the wall and then sink and then just blow up right there. And it's intense stuff. You go look that up. Let's see here. In 1954, the United States Supreme Court handed down a unanimous decision in Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas, outlawing racial segregation in public schools. Good. Yeah.
1967. Six-Day War. President Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt demands dismantling of the peacekeeping UN emergency force in Egypt.
Yeah. Let governments govern themselves.
In 1969, Vienna program, Soviet Vienna 6 begins to descent into the atmosphere of Zenith, sending back atmospheric data before being crushed by pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure burst pipes. It couldn't handle all. It couldn't handle the pressure. It caved in.
Yep. It imploded.
1973, Watergate Scandal televised hearings began in the United States Senate.
Yeah. 1 year later, in 1974, police in Los Angeles raid the Symbionese Liberation Army's headquarters, killing 6 members, including Camilla Hall. Well, that's good, I guess. Like, yeah. Anything about Army headquarters, that's paramilitary group on U.S. soil. That's not, no. Also in 1974, during the Troubles, 33 civilians were killed and around 300 injured when the Ulster Volunteer Force, aka UVF, detonated 4 car bombs in Dublin and Monaghan in the Republic of Ireland. And 1980, General Chun Doo-hwan of South Korea seized control of the government and declared martial law in order to suppress student demonstrations. Well, that never ends well. Don't try to stifle the voice of the people. That will always be thine undoing. Governments of the world.
Also 1980, on the eve of presidential elections, Maoist guerrilla group Shining Path attacked a polling station in Cholchi, Italian Ayacucho, starting the internal conflict in Peru.
I'm just imagining meeting a guy named Shining Path. Like, everywhere he stepped on is just golden. He's like King Midas, but with feet. You know?
Yeah. Like Michael Jackson and Billie Jean.
Yeah.
Also in 1983, Lebanon, Israel, and the United States signed an agreement on Israel's withdrawal from Lebanon. Good. Also in 1983, the U.S. Department of Energy declassifies documents showing world's largest mercury pollution event in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, ultimately found to be 4.2 million pounds, which is 9.2 KT, in response to the Appalachian Observer Freedom of Information Act request.
4.2 million pounds. I'm just trying to...
Of mercury.
Yeah, well, I know that 2,000 pounds is a ton. But what's... You know what? Let's see here. What is 4.2... 4,200,000 divided by 2,000 equals 2,100 tons. Wow. That's a lot. That's obscene. Going to take us up into 1984. That saw Prince Charles calling a proposed a proposed addition to the National Gallery in London a, quote, monstrous carbuncle on the face of a much-loved and elegant friend, end quote, sparking controversies on the proper role of the royal family and the course of modern architecture. Wow. Well, he didn't like it, clearly. 1987, during the Iran-Iraq War, an Iraqi Dassault Mirage F-1 fighter jet fired 2 missiles into the U.S. Navy warship USS Stark, killing 37 and injuring 21 of her crew. Okay, that's not going to go over well for them. Well, it didn't. So, and in 1990, the General Assembly of the World Health Organization, eliminated homosexuality from the list of psychiatric diseases. And not to say anything, but look at the way the world is now. So,
yeah. Well, it's not a disease.
It's not, but I mean, the way people makes people act. The way it makes people act is a disease. Mm-hmm.
That's just humans.
Yeah.
Humans are the disease.
That is true.
Right. Agent Smith was telling the truth about that.
Yeah. You have a point. Humans are a virus. So, what happened in 1992?
1992, 3 days of popular protest in the government of Prime Minister of Thailand, Susinda Parapoyong, ends in Bangkok, leading to a military crackdown that results in 52 officially confirmed deaths, hundreds of injuries, many disappearances, and more than 3,500 arrests.
Good lord. That's insane, dude. What the hell?
Also, in 1994, Malawi holds its first multi-party election.
Good.
1995, Sergeant Nelson steals a M60 tank from the California Army National Guard Armory in San Diego and proceeds to go on a rampage.
I remember that. Yeah, like some guy stole a tank from Camp Pendleton and started driving around in the streets of San Diego. It's just like, what the... That obviously inspired GTA. In 1997, troops of Laurent Kabila marched into Kinshasa, which then Zaire was officially named the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Oh, okay. Well, they just took it. In the year 2000, which was 22 years ago, Arsenal and Galatasaray fans clashed in the 2000 UEFA Cup final riots in Copenhagen. 4 years after that, in 2004, the first legal same-sex marriages in the U.S. are performed in the state of Massachusetts. Spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say the spirit of the red, white, and blue, but...
Okay. Spirit of the red, white, and blue. Also, 2006, aircraft carrier OSS Oriscani is sunk in the Gulf of Mexico as an artificial reef.
Cool. I have to look this up.
2007, trains from North and South Korea crossed the 38th parallel in a test run agreed by both governments. This is the first time that trains have crossed the demilitarized zone since 1953.
Nice.
Yeah. Kim Jong-un's on one side. Can I eat? No, Supreme Leader, you cannot eat the train.
Yeah, you cannot eat the train. You're not a snake. Snakes on the train.
2014, military plane crashed in northern Laos, killing 17.
Dang. Before we get into person deaths, like any articles grab your attention today?
Yes, the space shuttle being crushed in Venus.
Oh yeah, Venera 6. Was
Yeah,
it?
Venera 6. Yeah, the guy filling up the tank.
Yeah, the tank guy. Yeah. Bro, I saw that live on TV as a kid, and oh my god, you cannot, like, growing up in the 90s was an experience, I tell you what. Like, you know, 80s kids would say the same thing about the 80s, and then the 70s kids, the 60s kids, but, like, my generation, we experienced somebody, you know, going for a joyride in a armored war machine. Can anybody else say that?
I know. No one can.
Anyway, jumping on up into the burst, why don't you start us off here?
Sure. 1155. Ian, Japanese monk poet and historian.
You want to do 3 for 3?
Yeah, 1490, Albert, Duke of Prussia, last Grand Master of the Teutonic Knights.
Ah.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing lasts forever.
1682, Bartholomew Roberts, Welsh pirate.
Good old Dread Pirate Roberts right there. I didn't know he was originally Welsh. 1706, Andreas Felix von Oefel, born on this date. He was a German historian and librarian who died in 1780. 1768, Henry Paget, first Marquis of Anglesey, English general and politician who was a Lord Lieutenant of Ireland, who died in 1854. 1868, Horace Elgin Dodge was an American businessman who co-founded Dodge, who died in 1920.
Another one of the Dodge brothers?
The Dodge brothers?
Yeah.
I don't know, but they couldn't dodge death.
1985, Reinhold Stallman, Estonian sprinter and bandy player.
What is a bandy player? What is a bandy? Let me look it up real quick. What is a bandy? Okay. Instruments. Bandy is it's a sport. Bandy is a winter sport and ball sport played by two teams wearing ice skates on a large ice surface, either indoors or outdoors, while using sticks to direct a ball to the opposing team's goal. So it's hockey. Okay. You have two more.
Okay. 1897, Odd Hassel, Norwegian chemist and academic. 1894, A.J. Casson, Canadian painter. Oh, Casson.
Yeah. His full name is Alfred Joseph Casson. Let's see here. 1912, we have Mary Beatrice Davidson Kenner was a U.S. inventor, and what was her inventions? So let me check this. Invention. In 1976, after her sister was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, Kenner patented a walker with an attachable tray and pocket for carrying items. In the 1980s, Kenner invented a toilet paper dispenser with paper that was always reachable, and a backwasher that could be mounted to a shower wall. Well, that's cool.
My fucking hero.
Hell yeah. So I see your patent for the walker tray. That's nifty.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that to the underbar. Let's see, who else was born on this date? 1919, we have Antonio Aguilar. Was a Mexican singer, songwriter, producer, actor, and screenwriter. And I believe they are dead, but I forgot to add in the date of their death while I was writing the script. So they died in 2007. So wow, not that long ago. 2007. Hold on a second. We're doing some live additions to the during the show right now. When did this lady die? 2006. Oh wow. So she was with us. We were in a world with these people. And in 1920, we have Harry Manel, an Estonian Venezuelan businessman who co-founded ACO Group. And when did he die? 2010. Okay. Your turn, sir.
Okay. 1922, Jean Riddell, French racing driver who founded Alpine. 1924, Francis Toombs, Baron Toombs, the English engineer and politician, the Tomb Baron.
Yeah, he was the Tomb Baron. So wait, that makes me wonder what Laura Croft was doing.
Right.
What tomb was she raiding? 1931, we have Marshall Applewhite, was a U.S. cult leader who founded Heaven's Gate. And thankfully, cultists only made it until 1997. 1934, Ronald Wayne, a U.S. computer scientist who co-founded Apple Inc. And I believe he was the guy who initially invested and then backed out at some points. But, yeah. Let's see here. 1935, Dennis Potter was born on this date. He is an English voice actor, director, producer, and screenwriter.
1938, Paris Jackson, U.S. R&B bass singer. No, he is not part of the Jackson 5.
Okay.
1939, Hugh Dykes, Baron Dykes. Hugh Dykes.
Hugh Dykes.
English politician.
Mr. President, how big were the dikes? They were huge. They were Hugh Dykes.
1943, Gerard Judin of Peerless. Yang the Pertian among of Malaysia.
Yeah, like when I wrote all that, I thought I was actively either having a stroke or I traversed into another dimension, because none of that made any sense. Like I don't know what a Perlis is. I don't know what a Yang di Pertuan Agong is. I know what a Malaysia is, and that's the only thing that I can understand. I don't know whose turn is it anymore.
Yours.
Okay. 1945, we have B.S. Chandrasekhar. His full name is... Oh, good lord. Yeah. His full name is not bullshit. It's Bhagwat Subramania. Last name I said before. He was an Indian cricketer.
Okay.
And then 1955, Bill Paxton, good old Bill Paxton, was, unfortunately, a past tense, U.S. actor and director. He was in Twister and several other things, and he unfortunately left us in the year of 2017.
Yeah. 1965, Sugar Ray Leonard, U.S. boxer. 1956, Bob Saget, U.S. comedian, actor, and television host. 1960, Simon Fuller, English talent, management, and producer who created the Idol series.
Tell you what, he was Fuller himself. So.
Wait a minute. No, I want to say, that's not just Simon. That's
no.
I'm thinking of.
No, you're thinking of Simon Cowell.
Wait.
The guy who's always sitting with his arms crossed. Oh, I'm an angry British guy. 1961, Enya, Irish singer, songwriter, and producer.
Oh, wonderful singer.
Yeah. 365 days later, in 1962, Rosalind Picard, born on the States. She is a U.S. computer scientist and engineer who co-founded Effectiva. And 1965, Trent Reznor is a U.S. singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and producer. 1966, Qusay Hussein was an Iraqi soldier and politician, executed in 2003. I think the U.S. Armed Forces or the coalition, whichever. Oh.
1974, Wiki Gonzalez, Venezuelan basketball player.
Paler?
Player. Wiki. 1967, Candy Burruss, U.S. singer, songwriter, and producer and actress. 1976, Wang Li Hong, U.S. Taiwanese singer, songwriter, producer, actor, and director.
You know, it seems that like once actors get into like any form of writing, they eventually become all of it. Like, you know, they're producers, they're screenwriters, they're directors. Like, there's like how many people are like an amalgamy of any one of those, like actor, director, producer, screenwriter, correspondent, you know, whatever. Anyway, let's get into deaths here. I'm going to start us off in the year 528. That saw the death of Empress Dowager Hu of Northern Wei, as well as Yan Yong, who was an imperial prince of Northern Wei. So I think that they both got overthrown. And then in 946, we have Al-Qaim B. Amir Allah, was a Fatimid caliph who was born in 893. Then 1336, Go Fushimi, which sounds like some kind of, like, you know, action sushi game, was an emperor of Japan. He was born in 1288.
1395, Ernst Diogenes Constantine Dargus, Serbian ruler.
You gonna take the next one?
Yep. 1958, Francisco de Miranda, Portuguese poet, and 1606, false Dimitri, the first pretender to the Russian throne.
Ah, he was a pretender. 1729, Samuel Clarke, English clergyman and philosopher. And for some reason I thought he was of the Lewis and Clark expedition for something, because, Samuel Clarke, but it was Meriwether Lewis and something Clark. And Clark. So who was Clark? Lewis and Clark expedition. Who was Clark? Why can't I find the name? Okay, who was Clark? Who was Clark? Lewis and Clark. Lewis and
that was Clark Kent.
No, that's Lois and Clark. William Clark. Okay, so this is not the same Clark. Anyway, this guy was born in 1675. 1822, Armand Emmanuel de Vigenerat de Plessis, Duc de Richelieu, was a French general and politician who was the second Prime Minister of France. He was born in 1766. And in 1829, John Jay died on this date. He was an American politician and diplomat who was the first Chief Justice of the United States, born in 1745.
Okay. 1838, Charles Maurice de Talleyrand-Peyragues, first bishop and politician who was the Prime Minister of France. 1875, John C. Bertrand, American lawyer and politician who was the 14th Vice President of the United States and Confederate States General.
Dang. I don't know which one came first. Well, obviously, that's chronologically correct, because if he had been a Confederate person, they wouldn't have let him become a vice president of our nation. No way.
No. Also, 1879, Asa Packer, American businessman who founded Leahy University.
He's a what Packer?
Asa Packer.
Asa Packer. The Asa of Spades. 1886, John Deere, American blacksmith and businessman who founded Deere and Company. Yes, tractors, John Deere. Was born in 1804. 1911, Frederick August Otto Schwartz was a German U.S. businessman who founded FAO Schwartz. He was born in 1836. And 1927, Harold Geiger, a U.S. pilot and lieutenant who was born in 1884. And who invented the Geiger counter? Who invented the Geiger counter? Was Hans Geiger. So this is not the same guy. Your turn, sir.
Oh, good.
1951.
1951, William Birdwood, Anglo Indian Field Marshal.
What was he made out of, a birdhouse or something?
Yeah. 1964, Nandor Fodor, Hungarian U.S. psychologist and parapsychologist.
What the hell is that? Let me look that
2001, Frank G. Slaughter, U.S. physician and author.
Looks like we already looked this up at one point. It is a study of alleged psychic phenomena and other paranormal claims, for example, those related to near-death experiences. So, I'm going to put this in the underbar anyway. You got Frank Slaughter, right?
Yep.
All right. 2007, we have T.K. Doraiswamy, was an Indian poet and author who was born in 1921, and her full name, or their full name, well, it's not telling me. His pen name was Nakulan, but full name. It's not telling me his full name. So, yeah, the world shall never know. And last but not least, in 2014, C.P. Krishnan Nair. And let's see if the almighty internet will... Yep, here we go. Captain Shitarath Puvakats Christian Nair. What a name. That name is just too easy to make fun of. He was an Indian businessman who founded the Leela Palaces, Hotels, and Resorts, born in 1922. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links that you may be interested in, which also includes
Soyan TV on Twitch.
And everything Omni Coalition. For your dose of Passive Events Daily, we stream every day between 12 noon and 3 p.m. Pacific.
2 to 5 Central.
For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
Me.
And you are you. And until you see us tomorrow, do not forget to look right and left at every single intersection. Safety first, people. Rate 5 thumbs and subscribe. Until tomorrow, toodles. Let's go, Brandon.